We're going to get started. Reagan's going to turn off our music.
There we go.
Okay, and today, like I said, we are exploring the Cadette Outdoor Art Apprentice badge. This is for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. If you're younger and older, I think any age can appreciate the great outdoors, and there'll be some activities that all ages can do today. So, the steps are, the first step is explore outdoor art, and there's a lot of artists out there that are inspired by art. When you look around, I am not an artist. I don't claim to be an artist, and sadly most of everything I'm going to share today are not my creations, but I definitely enjoy the art of outdoors, and so does a lot of other people. So I am going to share with you some outdoor artists that I think are an inspiration. So a lot of people think about art, and they think about painting. So the first painting I have is by an artist named Jessica Pisano. You can go ahead and show them. And Jessica has always been inspired by nature. Trees and birds are her primary subjects. She says that she is drawn to the comparison and contrast of these two subject matters. Birds in many ways symbolize the opposite traits of trees. While trees are majestic and represent strength, stability, and growth, they are grounded in nature. Birds are light and delicate and are mobile in nature. Together they create a balance. The bird is weightless to the tree's weight, the yin to the yang. And Reagan, we were just talking about the yin and yang the other day, and kind of the opposite, complementing each other. The next artist, this is my only male artist that I have, but I thought he was really neat because he does carvings. He has been an artist for over 30 years. His name is Earl Martz, and Earl Martz does painting and carving and combines those two art techniques to create realistic displays of animals. And this is a picture of an owl, and I find his display amazing. The owl's eyes are just absolutely beautiful. It occurred to me that nature and animals could become one sculpture in the gentlest of strong wood and the marching subtle curves of a wild animal. Over a period of 15 years now, he has found pieces from wood from Maine to Montana. So it's pretty neat. I'd like one of his pieces for sure. Another artist that I found online that I thought was pretty amazing is Sharon Meyer Ponstens, and she lives in a farm, northern Minnesota, and this is called the Monarch because it's inspired by the monarch butterfly. And she does pottery and basket weaving, and her inspirations come from gardens, fields, woods, and surroundings. Sharon says, I want to pay attention to small and seemingly insignificant part of our world. The caterpillar that becomes the butterfly, the iridescent green beetle that hides beneath the flower. I want the vessels to capture the spirit of the natural world we all inhabit. So pretty amazing. And this last artist is from Russia, and I really hope I don't butcher her name. And she does fashion. And you wouldn't think that fashion designing is art, but it for sure is. Her name is Lilia Hadakova, and she works with photo compositions to create fashion. So creating colleges with these lovely dresses, and to show the closest relationship between fashion, art, and nature. You may think that these trendy masterpieces really are the base of sketches of nature. And when I showed Reagan this, tell him what you told me, Reagan.
I said I want her to design my prom dress because this one, I really like this sunset one.
So she has a lot of amazing, so you have to check her out online. I just picked out a couple of her dresses, but pretty impressive designer there. So I would love to see, or I'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite artist? Whether it's the ones I just shared or somebody maybe that you have at home. Reagan, can you see?
Yes. No one has it. Miranda said, I love the outdoors and art, so this is perfect.
Awesome. So you like all artists like I do. Well, while you're thinking about your favorite artist, I want to share my favorite artist. And this is somebody you've never heard of because it's my mother, Diana. And she started doing art once she retired. So anyone that's out there that doesn't think they can do art, you sure can. Like literally, when I growing up, she didn't know art. So she painted this picture for my son Logan, and he wanted a nature scene, and I think it's pretty amazing, and I just had to share. So good job, Mom. Hopefully she's watching. So maybe I'm partial, but I think she does a pretty amazing job. So I have some other things to share with you that, like I said, are not my creations. But definitely lay around my house and inspire me. So what are we going to share first, Reagan? Okay, so we're going to share, I have this coffee mug. And this coffee mug is an inspiration of the ocean. If you see the greens and the blues and the grays for the beach. This actually sits on my stove and has a candle in it. But I think it's pretty amazing. Reagan, does anybody have anything that they're saying that they...
Erin said, "That's beautiful. Your mom is talented."
Oh, yes, I agree. Thank you. I'll have to share. She doesn't think so. Go ahead and let's share something else. Okay, so my friend Vicki Proctor, and she's actually the one monitoring the comments today. She is our camp team lead.
Wait, is she the one that's under the Girl Scout?
Yeah, she's the one commenting.
I've seen her comment a bunch of times.
So Vicki made this, and she just took a piece of wood, and she hollowed out the inside so I can pull out my air plant.
Miranda said that it's glitching a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is anybody else having problems?
Gabby said, Layla, sorry if I said that wrong, loves the one that drew the dress.
Yes.
That dress is beautiful. Layla wants to be a fashion designer when she grows up.
Awesome. Well, you can definitely use the outdoor as
And
your
Vicki said, hello from Vicki.
So Vicki made this. It's a piece of wood, and she hollowed out the inside. So, go ahead. Show them the top. And she put a little brad nail in it, so it slides back and forth, and it can be a little treasure box. It sits on my windowsill in the kitchen, and then I put a little air plant that I got from Florida inside of it. So, yeah, we're a little bit crooked, Reagan.
Oh.
So, what else do we have that's inspired? Oh, so this is not art by nature, but it holds nature inside. So it's a planter, and I just thought it was amazing, the concrete hands, and I put a couple succulents inside of it, and it sits with my other plants. So pretty cool. Anything else? Oh, my turtle. Don't forget the little guy. So somebody bought this for me. And, you know, art can be very tiny. This is a little turtle.
Hope you can see that, guys.
And it's made from seashells. And he has the littlest glasses, Reagan, if you can see. If anybody knows me, one of my other passions is miniatures, like doll houses and fairy gardens. So I love my little turtle shell guy. So, I hope you have some things. If you have some really cute items around your house that are nature inspired, please feel free to post those pictures. I'd love to see what you have.
Selena says, I love the turtle. I have one too.
Oh, I don't know. It was a gift, so I'm not sure where it came from, but he sits on my windowsill with Vicky's little piece of wood there. Probably looks like a big tree to him. So the other day, we were walking out the woods, and, oh, Reagan, I forgot to tell you. So we talked about art, like as in pottery and painting, but do you know that also music is a form of art? Yes, and a lot of people are inspired by art, and our musicians are no different. They definitely are inspired by art. There are a lot of songs out there that are written about nature, but there are also a lot of songs out there that have nature sounds in the background. And I found one that I want to share here in a few minutes that's inspired by nature. It has sounds of nature in the back. but before we talk about that, the other day, Reagan and I were in the woods. Sorry, I feel like my head's being cut off. Reagan and I were in the woods, and we heard a sound, music almost. And she reminded me that at home she can make the same sound. So I am going to let her play this little sound, and you tell me what it is. Does anyone know what that is? Try guessing.
Try guessing what I am playing?
Yeah, well, what sound? What animal sound that is? No one's guessing. A turtle? No,
not. She's asking what turtle. Turtle.
Oh, my little turtle.
Right there. Can you guys hear it okay? Frog with lines. Correct.
Yes. So the
Gabby
first person,
got
yes.
it correct. So she said the frog with lines that makes a sound.
Yes.
So this little toad frog thing, it has spikes on its back, and you have the stick that you rub against it, and it makes little music. So
what I love is that it's art, and it also plays music, but literally we were out in the woods and heard that very sound, didn't we? We actually heard two talking to each other. So, and it sounded just like that. So, before we play the music, though, I want to talk about what we're going to do. So we have explored all kinds of art that is inspired by nature, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to also create something that's inspired by nature. So hopefully you guys have either store-bought clay or made some salt dough. If you haven't, that's okay. You can go back and make this later. So the recipe for the salt dough I will post below, but literally it's flour, salt, and water. Now my friend Nikki will say, please don't eat it and keep it away from your animals.
Oh boy, that's confusing.
Because it has lots of salt in it. So this is the salt dough here, and it's just
Just on the ground, guys.
It's kind of like bread, kind of dough feeling. We actually did this with Reagan's troop last week. We did it virtually. And so we made a few creations here.
Vicky says, I have a smaller frog like that in my life jacket. When I kayak, I can call in the frogs.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do the same thing. So the salt dough that we're doing, we make little necklaces.
A lot of people were saying it was frozen.
Do you see the necklace? Sorry, my it's glitchy. I apologize. I'm on data. It's usually not too terribly bad. Here's another. I used an air plant to make a design in that one. And then this one I actually did create as a necklace. And I used a seashell. So hopefully you can see that. And then I threw some beads on to make the necklace.
It says, will this be available later also?
Yes.
You can rewatch the live.
For sure. So, and if it's glitchy on the live, I will definitely make sure that we re-record it. So, but anyway, so the salt dough, what you do...
She says, I love that.
...is you take the salt dough and you can, Reagan, do you want to show?
Smash it down.
I wouldn't make it too thin because what I noticed... is after it dries, it does become fragile. So try to make several different designs because you might have some that break. You can make it as big or as small. I prefer a little smaller pendulum. I make it, and then to get the right size, Reagan's doing
Mine technically wasn't a circle. It doesn't have to be if you don't want it, but I'm just kind of patting in the edges to make it more of a circle shape.
It's kind of like making cookies or little pieces of bread, isn't it, Reagan?
Mm-hmm.
And then what I find works the best is these seashells. Now, if your dough's too sticky, you can add a little more flour. If it's too dry and crumbly, add just a little bit more water. You don't want to put too much water in it because then it will get sticky. It doesn't take much at all.
Hey, the turtle.
Oh, look, show them.
So I made the turtle's little feet here. There's like little, they're made out of shells, so it's little like seashells that I use.
Ours is a little bit on the sticky side. And I don't have flour out here to make it a little less sticky. But mine, I did a seashell. I have other things like blades of grass. I have a little bit of corn husk. Anything really that you can find out in nature can make a good design. How's the blades of grass? I mean,
they don't work.
So after I make them, you can either let them dry at a low heat, like 180, or you can let them air dry. That's what we did, and it took about 3 or 4 days for them to air dry. I flipped them over a few times, and then I took acrylic paint and I watered the paint down. That way, hopefully the paint kind of gets into the cracks and crevices rather than just sit on top. So I just kind of dripped it on instead of like painting it on real thick. This one you can see a little bit more. The green kind of settles into the cracks. And it shows up a lot more than when it's just white. So they don't look like much sometimes until you paint them. It's kind of neat to see. And then you add some beads or make necklace. Like I said, make several because I had more of them to show you and they kept falling apart. Actually, this one fell apart, and if you see, I glued it and kind of layered it, which I thought turned out really neat. Okay, so you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to play the music.
Oh, you want me to play it now?
Yes, so she's going to get some music started. Hopefully we will not have a commercial, but no promises. It's just on. And this artist, Hollow Cove, and they do nature acoustic. So they're actually, the videos, they're out in the woods. And
they're playing guitar.
They're playing guitar, but they're using the nature sound, especially in the beginning if you can pick up the nature. So we'll play it. There's an ad. She's going to go through the ad. Definitely listen to the beginning. Can you turn it up a little bit? Can you turn it up on the... Hopefully you can hear the birds in the background.
We're all falling and we need a place to hide. A safe place somewhere in the woods we can start a fire.
What are the lyrics?
All we
So it's awesome. It's about the woods and kind of going out in the woods and finding a safe place in the woods, which I think is pretty neat story right now with everything we're doing. We live out in the country, so there's lots of woods around, and that's what we did last Saturday, is spend some time in the woods.
Somebody said music to my ears.
Yes, me too. So go ahead and stop it. I will post the song after we're done here, so if you want to listen to it more. And there's also another one called Coastline, I believe is, Reagan, what you said it was. I think Coastline or Shoreline. So that also has some...
She said these would be great for your veggie garden markers. The salt things.
Oh, yeah! Yes. Okay. So, we made something. We learned about music. We explored artists that's inspired by nature. So Reagan's reminded me our next step, which is designing with nature. So, hold on a second. Yep. So one of the things, one of the steps is designing. And in this, we're going to be a nature architect. So there's actually architects out there in real life that use nature as their inspiration. And one of the things I want to share with you is playscapes. Playscapes are all over the place, and they're areas for kids to play, and they're really cool, and I want to share you some.
What is the difference between a playscape and a playground?
So, good question. A playground, it has like man-made materials like plastic and metal, and a playscape uses natural materials like wood, streams, creeks, rocks, and so that's the difference. So the first three I'm going to show you is playscapes that are in our region. So Girl Scouts of Western Ohio goes from Cincinnati, Ohio to Toledo, Ohio. So I wanted to share with you guys some. And are we going to start with Cincinnati?
Why?
Because then we'll go north. So Marge and Charles, what is it, Cincinnati Nature Center has this playscape. I do have the links, just like the music. I'll definitely share those below. And so this is a really cool playscape right in Cincinnati. Obviously right now, unfortunately, we are unable to explore these because of our stay-at-home orders. But I challenge you to definitely explore them once the weather gets nicer.
Somebody said, what are we doing? Couldn't get in earlier.
We're talking about,
it was too laggy.
We're talking about nature's playscapes right now. Okay, keep showing. Okay, the next one, yep, is in Beaver Creek, which is near Dayton. And this playscape, there's lots of pictures of it. My favorite is the teeter-totter, which is literally made out of wood.
My favorite is the car, because I really like the little cute.
Okay. So, and then do we have Lima, and that's the city that's closest to us. And this picture isn't that great, but this is in Herman Woodland Metro Park, and Reagan's actually been to this one.
So basically, it's not just a playscape. It also has like hiking trails and these book things on the hiking trails. Our family really enjoys going there for picnics, but there's also like playgrounds too, not just playscape, and like a little swing and stuff. But if you go back into the woods, there's a creek by this like teepee thing, and then there's this teepee too that you can play in.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. And then the last one is not a playscape. It's actually something pretty amazing that the city of Toledo just added to one of their parks, and that is tree houses. So this is becoming more and more popular. This is a tree house that you can rent, and there's tree houses that are that you can rent for 2 people all the way up to 6 people, and you can spend the night in them. So I just wanted to shout out to Toledo. We got an opportunity to stay in a tree house last winter, didn't we? Mm-hmm. It was pretty neat. So, and it actually swayed a little bit as the wind, which was
pretty windy. Pretty windy.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary, but that was pretty neat. So today, not feeling like we should be building a playscape. I don't think I have that in me.
I don't think we have the materials.
I don't think so either. So, but what we can do is we can be nature's architect by creating a fairy garden. And so these fairy gardens, here's a couple pictures of some neat fairy gardens, but I actually have some material and things that I want to share with you. Reagan's created some things. So I'll start with this here, Reagan. So as you know, I like seashells, right? So I made this little waterfalls. And how I did that is I took blue paint, a few rocks and stones, and then I glued it together with hot glue, and then I let the hot glue kind of drip down, and I painted it to make it look like water dripping down. And I put it so it stays. I put it on a piece of wood, and I actually have a little bit of wood on the bottom there, so that way I can kind of stick it into the ground. So that is one thing. So Reagan liked the
I got my inspiration from the little teeter-totter on the playscape. So I made a little fairy garden teeter-totter. So as you can see here, I just took sunflower seeds, the shell to them, and I took each half of it and glued it on a piece of bark and then glued it on a stick so it can like teeter-totter way thing.
Yeah. So here's one that we did, and I hope you can see it. I made this little house out of bark. My husband cuts wood, and so we just have bark laying around, or you can collect it in the woods.
What's on top of there?
And then there's some moss on top as the roof. Reagan made a little smaller.
So I made this like tunnel type thing with some moss on there, and it kind of looks like it's a bird's nest on top there. And my mom thinks it looks like a garage next to it.
And then I have a little rock here. I'm just going to pull it out. I put it the flat side up so it looks like a little porch, but I love this rock. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
So she took some like bendy wood bark stuff and she painted it with acrylic paint. Don't know how well you can see that. And made like a little chair for them.
Okay, so.
What about the little acorn?
Oh, the little pine trees?
Yes. So I found these little baby pine cones on our pine trees back behind us. And my mom thought they were cute for like a bush or something. And they're just in a like stack of pine cones. So yeah.
So you can find any kind of container or pot to make a fairy garden. Behind me, I don't know how well you can see it. Hold on. I don't know how well you can see it, but I have a landscaping area that is all done in fairy gardens things. But Reagan, I know you found like a wheelbarrow, or teapot. I mean, literally anything.
Yeah, we get a lot of our inspiration from Pinterest, so you can just look up fairy gardens on Pinterest, see what they put it in, see what they make, see how they make it. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Now, Reagan was afraid there might be some people that maybe fairy gardens isn't their thing. So she's seen this on Pinterest and wanted to show you.
So it's not exactly what was on Pinterest that I saw, but it's like a little ladder. And I glued some moss to it here. There's some glue sticking off of it. And some little fake succulents that my mom had in her fairy garden. And I just literally gathered up bigger sticks here for the back. And then it was one big small stick that I broke into all the same size and glued them onto the bigger sticks and glued on the moss. And it's uneven, but you just stick it in the ground so you can't see the unevenness.
And then she also made this little crib out of wood. Her dad cut a couple pieces of wood for her, and then she used some bark. Now she said it's a little big for a fairy. I thought maybe twins could sleep in there together. So.
And when I showed my dad it, he asked if it was a boat. So I mean, it could be a boat too. So.
There you go. So yeah, lots of fun things you can make. And like I said, if you don't have a lot of garden area, you can easily do it in any little container. So one of the things to finish the badge is to become a nature architect and create your own fairy garden. So once you have created it, even if it's just a small little item to go into the fairy garden, I would love to see the pictures of that. The final thing is being a nature photographer. Reagan thought it would be fun to bring out a camera. So I'm going to make it a little more fun than just taking a picture. I'm going to post a scavenger hunt and see if you can use your camera to capture nature. And when you capture it through a lens and create art, you can see it so differently than maybe you see it in real life. So some of the things is not just taking a picture of a tree, but looking up into the tree. Or instead of taking a picture of grass, get it real close up.
Do we have to use the camera like this?
You can if you have, but I just use my phone.
Oh.
And my friend Caitlin, she actually did a photography this morning at 10 o'clock, and that live video is recorded if you want to learn more about photography. So challenge your friends and family to also become nature photographers and do the scavenger hunt. And again, share your most prettiest, most inspired pictures on our Facebook page. We would love to see them. So if you enjoyed this, if you want to learn more about fairy gardens and how to create fairy houses, tomorrow at 2, Chelsea is going to do the Brownie Outdoor Art Maker, I think is what it is. And that is for 2nd and 3rd graders. But anyone can join and learn a little bit more about how to create your own fairy garden. So hope you tune in for that one. And all of our others, they are recorded. And like I said, I'd love to see your work that you're doing to earn this badge. So thank you and have a great day.
Bye!
Bye.